we're in an age where we can't ignore technology, and why would you want to ignore it anyway? Because there's so many amazing apps and programs out there that you can use. I use technology all the time in my music, even if it's just for if I'm writing for an orchestra or for a soloist. I will use technology. To start off with, I might use graphite on the page, but then I will probably digitize it and put it into a groove, maybe, depending if it's that kind of music. If it's music that needs groove, I will use my own pre-recorded sound bites that I might chop up, or I might use samples and mix and match. And I think it's a very valid thing to do. I mean, it's essential really that you have to be able to get your way around a sequencer these days, and probably children that are growing up now will know much more about it than me. I've been lucky enough to be at the age where I started out without it, and I've kind of grown into it, and I've seen the possibilities that it can offer. But I've also seen it go a little bit too far, for my mind. Cut and paste is to me a means to an end rather than the be all and end all. If you're just cutting and pasting somebody else's samples all the time, you can come out with what you call a piece of music. I wouldn't call it a composition, because you haven't actually produced any of that music yourself, but you've used somebody else's samples. Now, I know that a lot of music is presented like that, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all, but I think that there has to be a healthy mix of the two. So, for instance, if children are composing their own piece, they're quite welcome, in my view, to use samples, but to put some real music on top of it, to record themselves or other people playing proper analog stuff. Because let's face it, that's what makes it sound interesting. An instrument or a voice is always going to sound different to a sample is a sample. So I think mixing the two together is a very valid thing that needs to be done at the moment, especially for students who are learning composition at this moment in time.
Great route into composition for children is through digital technology. Programs such as Logic, GarageBand, Reason and Cubase are reasonably inexpensive and very simple to use. Children as young as 9 and 10 can use these programs, and they come packaged up with loads of preloaded beats and loops and samples and instruments, so that you can make a very professional sounding track with relative ease. A great way to start with that in a program like GarageBand, for example, is to make a very simple track yourself. Drums, bass, keys, maybe a lead line, and package it up into little groups. You can get your students to then move those various sections of the piece around to kind of edit and make their own piece, so they can immediately start to get the gist of how the program works and how things can change very quickly.